people, welcome to yet another episode of my podcast. I'm your host, Esther Kalenzi. Today, I would like us to talk about asking for help. It is something that I have struggled with for a big chunk of my life, and I never truly sat down to think of the reasons why I am so intimidated by it. Until accidentally I started to live my dream, which some of you know through listening to this podcast or even before that. So over a decade ago, I started 4040, which is 40 Days Over 40 Smiles Foundation. It's a non-profit organization that supports children in underserved communities. But before then, it was just a Facebook group. I sat and thought about something that I wanted to do with my life that was just more than what I was doing at the time. And it being the Lent season, I decided to use the 40 days of Lent to bring people together to actually give back to others who probably didn't have family to spend that Easter weekend with, or might not have had the resources to have a big feast like the rest of us might have been having. And what it required was simply me opening up a Facebook group at the time and then adding my friends, who then added their other friends, in order to spread the word. Now, at the time, it was quote unquote easy for me because all I had to do was put something on social media and then go back and hide and wait to see what will happen. However, I was constantly refreshing because I still wanted to know who's in, who's out. Is this something that I actually want to do? And how do I get support? By then, I was putting it out into the universe. I didn't have to speak to anyone individually. But along the way, people started to ask questions. And these questions would be, how can I help? Do you need any support? Where do I begin from? And then it kind of took me aback because now I had to actually be extremely intentional about asking for this help, which was something that I was struggling with. I remember this one time, this was many years ago. I remember this one time, a friend I had gone to school with called me and he said, "Oh, I've seen your post on Facebook and I want to know how to help. What should I do?" And I just randomly, without even thinking about it, said, "Send us 500,000 shillings. That's 500,000 in Uganda shillings," which was quite a chunk of money at the time. And it was just an amount that came out to my mind. I mean, we had just started working. None of us had that much money. But you know what he did? He actually sent that money. And I received it on my phone and could not believe it. Just like that. He asked what I wanted. I said what I needed. And I actually got it. And this to me was just the beginning of so many such experiences. And it wasn't just the money. There are people who brought clothing, there are people who brought toys from their children, who brought books and constantly wanted to do more. And being on this journey for this time has shown me that lots of people want to help and they're just looking for the bridge. Sometimes they're looking for the way to get to that point, and you might be that point, or you might know someone who actually is. So, what is it that you would like help with? I would like you to think about that for a minute. Is there something that you need? Is there something that you need to do and you need help doing it? Who can you think of as a person who can actually help you to do this thing? Thirdly, how can you reach them? I just want you to take a moment and think about that. If you need to write it down for real, pause and do that right now before you forget. What do you want to do? Which people can help you do it? And how do you reach these people? The truth is, sometimes these people are within our circles. So what I did for 4040 was I used the low-hanging fruits. These were my friends and my family. But along the way, I have realized that countless strangers have been part of the support system. People whose names I don't know, people whose faces I don't know, simply because they align with the cause or they align with a desire to make a difference. or they sit there and actually listen to the story and feel like this is something that they want to do. And I believe that the thing that you want to do actually has people that are interested in doing it too. And sometimes it's not that complicated. Maybe you want to start a family. Maybe you want to begin a business. Perhaps you're looking for a friend and you don't even know where to start. Or you're just looking for a community to be a part of. You're looking for a fellowship. You want to start a new course and you don't know where to begin. However, if you keep this idea in your head, it's likely that it's going to stay there. But I truly, truly believe in speaking things out into the universe. When you start to speak, people listen. You start to tell someone, the person tells you, oh, I know someone who also did this course. Let me link you up. Next thing you know, you're meeting a total stranger because you spoke up to the friend. Also, write things down. Always, always write them down before you forget. What help is that you need in whatever capacity? It can be really, really small things and difficult things too. So it got me thinking about the reasons why we don't actually ask for help. And we like to say, just ask. The worst they can do is say no. It's true. The worst that they can do is say no. But do you know that no can just throw you into a whole month of depression, because that's the one thing that you are really, really looking forward to. So rejection is something that's extremely difficult to deal with. But I want to encourage us to remember that many times that rejection is not even about us. Imagine you apply for something and you're over 50,000 applicants from across the world. You receive a rejection letter, and in that moment it is Esther. It's Esther that they didn't like. It's me they didn't like. But there were so many applications, and perhaps there's something that you can learn from this experience. There's something that even just beginning it now shows you that you can actually apply for so many others because you took that first step. And rejection is not something that you might necessarily get used to living with, but it can get easier to live with it. I can't tell you how many rejections I have received as an individual, but also working with 4040. Those emails, I've been wondering lately, is it better if I read it at the end of the day when I'm going to sleep and then my whole night is messed up? Or should I see this email in the morning and then it just sets the tone for the rest of my day? What's the answer? The answer is there's never a good time to actually receive that rejection email. But you get better at it. You realize that there are some opportunities that are for you and others that aren't. Sometimes you are underprepared, and that's okay to recognize and start to learn to actually prepare more. Sometimes you're just not the right candidate, or it's not the right time. Even if it's while you're looking for a partner, even if it's while you're looking for a new job, there are so many other factors that go into it, but sometimes we just zero down on the rejection and we don't think about anything else. Another reason is that we are afraid of admitting our vulnerability. I notice that a lot of times it's difficult to let someone know you're struggling. You don't want to let someone know that you're broke. You don't want to let someone know that you're sick. You don't want to let someone know that your mental health is in the pits. And for that reason, maybe you can't see your friend, you can't go to work. And you know that them knowing this is now going to change the way they view you. But at the end of the day, people need people. We can't live in isolation, and you'll be surprised. Yes, there might be some people who can accommodate that vulnerability, but maybe you meet someone who actually can. And there's another thing that I've learned on this journey. If you show that you're superwoman, people are going to believe you. They will completely believe you. If you say, I can do anything all by myself, I don't need anyone, you realize that there are people who are always given the work. Because they keep taking it on, oh yes, I can work weekends, I can work public holidays, no boundaries whatsoever. You just want to do the work, even if you're struggling. People are actually going to believe you. But if you stop and say, hey, I didn't understand this assignment, or could I have someone working with me on this project? You're going to realize that there are people who can actually help, and you don't have to be a star all the time. Sometimes you actually need help as well. But also sometimes we want to be completely self-sufficient. I can do it all by myself. And it oftentimes works against us. Yes, it's understandable that you don't want to lose the control. You don't want to put this in someone's arms because they might disappoint you. That's a possibility. But also, what if they surprise you and actually get it done? What if the help that you need is actually on the other side, and once you ask, you're going to get it? There are so many possibilities. So if you're like me and you've been struggling with it, or it's something that you've not even started to work on, I implore you to have a conversation with yourself, have a sit down with yourself, have a meeting with yourself, and ask yourself, why is this the reason? Why is it that I'm so afraid of asking for help? Think about the reasons, and once you know them, a problem, as when you finally figure out the problem, it's easier to solve it. Think about the reasons why you are struggling with asking for help. Write that down and then see how you can now work around it. For example, I know that givers struggle a lot to receive help. They are so happy to give all of this help to all these people, and then finally when it's presented to them, am I worthy? Do I deserve it? Yes, you deserve it. How come it's so easy for you to give it to all of these people and you think that you don't deserve it yourself? And that's my challenge to you this week, especially if you are the person I'm speaking to. Yes, I mean you. Have a sit with yourself. Find out why you struggle to ask for help. Find out how you can start to actually deal with it. Maybe it won't go away completely, but perhaps it will get better. And start with simple steps. Start with asking a coworker for help, maybe asking someone at home, because like with everything else, practice makes perfect. If you start to ask for help, it's going to slowly get easier for you. And let me let you in on a little secret. There are people who are actually honored to do these things for you. I'm not even joking. There are people who are privileged to be able to give you this help. I work with a wonderful group of volunteers, and sometimes you'll give someone an assignment and they come back to thank you for the assignment. What do you mean you're thanking me for work? But they're thanking you because you chose them. They're thanking you because you trusted them with this thing. And in the end, you get the work done, get the volunteer happy. Everyone is happy. So I'm trusting you on this week. Go ahead and try this out and let me know how it goes. Like I always say, this community is nothing without you. I'm just talking out into a vacuum, into the universe. But when I get feedback from you, then I know that maybe, just maybe, this resonated with someone. As always, be kind and do good. Before I forget, if you'd like to support this podcast, 3 ways, like I always say, in which you can support the work that we do. 1, support the work of 4040. Follow us on our social media platforms. Buy a t-shirt, sign up to be a subscriber, come up to one of our amazing fundraising events. You could meet your person there. 2, support House of Penda. It's a business that I run with a friend of mine, and we sell awesome accessories. It's online on all the social media platforms as House of Penda UG. Get yourself happy socks, some shades, some wallets, and gift yourself or your loved ones. And finally, the Phoenix Project, which is a wellness company that has so far created awesome journals and calendars that can be gifted, but also get one for yourself. Happy week. Talk to you soon.